Hi, everybody. Welcome to my webinar this evening. I know it's very last minute, but it's on how to double your money passively through low income multifamily investing. So, of course, I'm being mentored by Wendy Guzman and Mike Ely from the Big Deal Maker Group. So, of course, a lot of the ideologies and concepts is from them, right? So, very excited for this evening to have, whether it's you're watching me live or whether you're going to watch it at some point in the next 24 or 48 hours. I think it's a great opportunity for you all to learn a little bit more about low income tax, low income tax credit, Section 8, all that, all the above, right? So we're gonna talk more about that. Yes, I'm starting to see more people in the room, so thank you for that. And I'm glad I'm not talking to myself. I'd be kind of crazy, right? All right. So from the beginning, so once again, I wanted to thank you guys all for coming to How to Double Your Money Passively Through Low Income Multifamily Investor, the official guide to multiply your money and put your money to work, right? So good. All right. So just really quickly, I'm a big concept of quotes. So save is to put your money to rest. Invest is you put your money to work, right? Big quotes by big quote by Warren Buffett. Okay. So, disclaimer, just really quickly, I gotta put it out there. This information is for educational purposes only. Will not be provided financial, legal, professional advice. We introduce you to strategies that we use, but may not apply to your personal situation. So always speak to your team or professionals, or talk to me offline before applying any of these strategies learned today. Right? All right. So how is this different from anything you've ever seen before? Right. So out the gate, I'm gonna build instant credibility. Right. So I I joined two masterminds, Raising Private Money, and then of course Big Deal Maker earlier this year, right in February of this year. And thanks to that opportunity, I came across a 120 key hotel in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where Devon Reeves was spearheading that, and I was able to invest passively. That was the first deal that I invested passively in earlier this year. It actually closed on Tuesday, on Tuesday, yesterday actually. And so as a result, I'm now in the game, right? I've been in the game, right? I'm now officially in the game, and now I'm going to double my returns in 5 years. So that's my credibility. So that's how different is this? You're gonna see, but it's different from anything you ever seen before. And I'm out the gate. That's how I'm establishing credibility. Okay. So what's in it for you, right? Or what's in it for me? So think about it. Like even if you have 50K, 75K, 100K, 25K, you're able to double your money in 5 years, right? Without doing anything, without lifting a finger. Think about that, right? So where else are you gonna get that? Not gonna get that in the stock market. Not gonna get that in your CD. Not gonna get that anywhere, right? Um, so that's what's in it for you today, right? So I hope I I got some instant credibility. I told you who I am. I told you who I'm coming from, who's mentoring me, and that's what's in it for you this evening, right? So whether you're an active investor looking to find other ways to make your money work and or looking to make other your money work for your clients, it's a great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you today, right? Awesome. So quick, our story or my story, for those who don't know me, I have over 20 years of experience between higher ed and financial services, and of course the last, 15, 16 months in officially like all in on real estate. I own a training development company. I have a program on networking, course on networking. I have a book on networking, and in addition to that, I have my own podcast, and I have a book, and I also one of my primary clients is Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in New Jersey, and I oversee their entrepreneurship programs. And I have a doctorate in marketing from Walden University, and I've invested in a deal in Louisiana, as I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, and also I'm under contract, and I'll talk more about it later. A 41 unit with the team in Rockingham, North Carolina, and of course I'm being mentored by Amy Majuri, Sean McNichols. They run Raising Private Money, and of course Mike Ely, Wendy Guzman, and of course my compañera, my mentor Mika Willie. Okay, as well. All right, so that's a little bit about me. And for those who don't know me, right? So my goals within the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months, own 1,000 units. Technically, I have a part share in the 120 Key, Louisiana. If this one closes, you're talking close to 200. So I'm on pace before you know it. Uh, Looking to also get into notes, short-term and long-term notes. I have a friend, People's First Investment Group, that does that. That helps folks get out of foreclosure. Hope to continuing being a capital partner. I want to write a second book. I want to blow up the Dr. B show, and then of course my ultimate goal is to do a boutique hotel down the line in Miami. I don't know why. That's where I want it. A little bit about me. So how do I know it's real? Because I talked to folks. I spoke to Dwight. Shout out to Dwight. I don't think he's gonna be on here, but I did tell him I'm gonna send this to him. Dwight, who's part of the mastermind. Mike, Gwen, Mika. This is real, man. Tim, who you'll I'll talk about briefly later on. It's real. You have people who owning thousands of units. People who are doing very well, and a lot of them either left their jobs or in a position where they could keep their job to an extent and still go all in on real estate. So I know it's real. I spoke to a lot of folks in the Big Deal Maker Summit back in June. Of course, during the retreat the week after. Of course, the retreat, the Raising Private Money conferences. So I know it's real, and folks that I talk to are doing very well in the business, right? And there's different angles, right? So I spoke to a couple. They want to do short-term rental. I spoke to someone else who wants to do midterm rental. Spoke to someone else who wants to do, fix and flip. Spoke to someone else who wants, and then of course the majority of my community wants to get into multifamily and hotels, right? So this is geared towards multifamily and hotels. So I know it's real. In other words. So you just want to get some engagement. We don't have a lot of folks, but does anybody own any rental property? Just wanted to get to see. I'll put it in the chat. Who owns rental properties? Let's see. Let's see if anyone owns anything besides their primary residence, or if it's a multifamily, that's fine. Like you could live in one and rent the other. Right? It's called house hacking, so that's fine. Let's see. Who owns anything? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I usually have someone helping me manage the chat. Oh, it's disabled? Oh shoot. All right, thank you. Thank you for that. How do I enable that? Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. How do I enable that? Sorry. Disable captions, polls, interpretation, self-recording, share. Hold on. I got you guys. Everyone. Oh, okay. I got it. Sorry. Thank you, Jermaine. Now it's enabled. Sorry. You're good. That happened to me last time on the webinar. For some reason, it defaults to like lock and everything up. I appreciate it. Good. Thanks. Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate it. Okay, you own an Airbnb property. Good. Thank you. Jermaine. I appreciate it. Uh, Jermaine is a man. Jermaine, we met at the Big Deal Maker Summit, and we've been connected ever since. And I appreciate his time yesterday, and of course appreciate him tonight. Right. So good. So we have a few others. Let's see. So thank you, Jermaine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for chiming in. All right. Let's see if any of the others chime in, and let's see if others, roll in. Right. So good. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Awesome. So, all right. So of course, for those who own rental properties are good, but sometimes you have to deal with the tenants, toilets, and trash unless you hire a property management company, right? So pretty straightforward, right? So that's that. So anybody here worried about retirement and inflation? I assume yes, right? So I'm gonna pass on this question. So tonight we're gonna be discussing doubling your money, right, passively, and profiting from inflation can be done through multifamily investing, specifically low-income multifamily investing, right? So all right, I'm getting more folks in the room. Good, excellent. I knew it. But why multifamily first, right? So I took this slide from Mike directly when he did his when we did our presentation last week. So Why multifamily? So as you can see here, whether it's 21, 22, or 23, as the interest rates goes up, the average price of the home. Thank you, Damaris. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Um, as you can see, the average price of homes go up, and the monthly P&I goes up. But look at the monthly rental, right? It's just much more advantageous to rent for the average individual than to buy, right? So that's why it's a good time to buy, to get into multifamily, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to stop sharing. Sorry. Um, okay, so that's that, right? Let me let it go on. In addition to that, so why invest in apartments now, right? So why now? Why now, right? So believe it or not, 56.1 billion of multifamily mortgages have matured in 23, about to be foreclosed in 24, right? I'm always paying attention to auction.com. I'm always looking at like stuff locally, just in case. I don't ever know. And yeah, I've started to see more and more, unfortunately, folks, get into foreclosure and losing, or on the brink of losing their homes, right? So why do we say this, right? Because there's an opportunity for folks who are on this call to kind of take advantage of that, right? Right. So with that being said, as I was talking about before, billions are foreclosing, our foreclosures are coming, and much more, right? As you can see over the course of in 24 and 25 and 26, you're gonna see more and more foreclosures coming, right? All right, so now let's answer the big question, right? So why is there big money with low income housing, right? So why is that, right? Why is that? I'm here. That's what I'm here for, right? So why is that? So this right here, believe it or not, this is low income housing. These are pictures from one of my partners, Tim Best, who I call him, he basically owns North Carolina. He does nothing but low income house tax, or Section 8 low income housing. And it's all low income housing. It's crazy. Think about that. It's all in various properties that he owns throughout the Carolinas, right? So, or that's part of his portfolio, right? So pretty interesting there, right? So about low income housing, it's huge demand for it, right? So no state has adequate supply of affordable rental housing for the lowest income renters, right? Everyone thinks market rent, everyone thinks luxury, but believe it or not, there's a whole demand, right, for low income housing, right? Crazy, right? And of course, in the red states, in red as far as on this map, not red political wise, there's 30 or fewer, rental housing. Think about that. It's mind boggling, right? So that there it is. Why low income housing, and why there's a huge demand for it, right? So believe it or not, only 10% of the entire investor base goes after 50% of the market, right? Which makes up of affordable housing, right? So the other 90% of the investor base are all competing against each other for market rate properties, right? But no one is no one is going after low income house tax credit, right? Or LIHTC, or Section 8, right? So pretty interesting there, right? And this is something that Tim presented at this big deal summit a couple of weeks ago, back in mid June, and I since then, we kind of connected, and I'm working on this deal together. So pretty interesting, right? So there's almost like a blue ocean of little to no competition when it comes to low income housing, right? So before you answer the question, so how do we profit from low income housing? Let's discuss what LIHTC, or low income house tax credit, is, and how developers use it to develop low income housing, right? So this is, Wen knows I took this directly from him and Tim, right? So this is how developers build affordable housing with no money down, right? So whether it's a state, at the federal or state level, they get the project approved. If they get the tax credit, they'll, in addition to that, the developer presents a plan, right, to build affordable housing projects. In addition to that, the developer sells the tax credit. Then there's also corporations or individuals with huge tax liabilities. Then they get the money to develop the project. The developer uses the down payment to build affordable housing, and at the end of the day, that's it. No dinero down, right? So this is a flow chart or mind map of how a developer uses LIHTC to develop low income housing, right? So pretty cool there, right? So that's that, right? So how do you profit from LIHTC if we're not developers, right? We're all here investors, or at least invested in our own primary residence, and know the process of going through that, of purchasing a home, right? So, right? So how do we know? right? And I'll tell you. So the technique that I want to show you is three techniques. The first technique is the voucher stacking, right? So to qualify to live in a low income uh, housing tax credit unit or LIHTC unit, your residents' incomes must be willing to be posted with an annual monthly income limit, 50 to 60, right, of the AMI, right? What's not commonly known is that you can have a voucher that you can have voucher tenants at your property so long they are within the AMI restrictions, right? So what does that mean? What does that mumbo jumbo mean, right? So what that means is the LIHTC, it means your LIHTC net max rent, the amount you charge your tenant might be $700, but you could accept a voucher that pays 1,000, right? And believe it or not, the market rent when it comes to low income, at least in North Carolina, is nowhere near where the market rent is, right? So there's that gap where you can make money there, right? So we're working on this deal in Rockingham, right, where you'll be able to double your money in 5 years, and every year you get paid 7% pref. So what that means is the LPs or limited partners or preferred equity shareholders get paid first amongst the general public, right? Whoever invests in the deal, right? And there's an opportunity to possibly refi at the end of year two, and then your internal rate of return goes up to 24%. So, I think the plan is we're going to raise some of the capital, right, as part of the down payment or as part of purchasing this project. We're going to use a bridge loan, right, for 2 years, and then we're gonna refi to a traditional loan, and on that refi, we're gonna pay back the investors that way, right? So that's the plan. So the plan is purchase price is 3.5, total capex or capital expenditures is 160, any soft costs or architecture or reserves 608K, and financing between raising the money and of course with the bridge loan it'll be 2.6, right? So that's Rockingham, right? And the play is to try to increase the value to 4.9, and you want to increase the rent to the max that's allowed from the voucher standpoint, get more on your vouchers. They're trying to expand a specific park in the Raleigh area on the south side of Raleigh. So all in cost, it's 3.16. Exit price, worst case, 4.9. And while we're waiting for that period of that refi, that 2 year or even that 5 year, it's still going to cash flow about 85,000 a year, right? So we're making money one way or the other, right? So that's the Rockingham deal. So if anyone was interested in discussing more of that, it is at the moment a 506B. So what that means in the world of real estate is it could be accredited and not accredited could invest in this deal, and I believe the minimum is 25K, right? So anyone that's interested, let me know, right? So this is another deal, very similar, right? So it's another deal in Southern Pines, North Carolina. The goal is the same thing: increase the rent to the max allowed to get more vouchers. You want to develop the area around Raleigh and the park, right? So the all-in cost on this deal is 5.26. The exit price, worst case, is 8.7. And while waiting, this is going to cash flow about 170 a year, right? 70,000 a year, right? And this is the person who's a project lead for this one is Navia, right? So in this case, for this specific example, for this deal, it's a live deal. These are all live deals. You're able to double your money in 5 years or 2.1 equity multiplier while you wait. Similar to my deal, 7% pref for those that invest, limited partners or preferred shareholders, right? And possible refi, same deal at the end of year two, but the IRR on this deal shoots up once that's all said and done to 31%, right? So pretty attractive deal, right? So if you want more information about this, there is her cell number. I'll give you like 5 seconds to kind of screenshot it if you want it. If not, you'll get it all from me at the end anyway, right? So the second technique is voucher stacking, but converting to market rent, right? So in this case, here's how the actual technique works. So what you're doing is similar to what we were doing in number one, being able to you accept you could, although it's set to 7,000, you could accept vouchers up to 1,000. But what happens at the end of year five, it converts to a traditional market rent, so traditional property basically, right? So same deal here, right? So you increase the rents to allow more vouchers, right? You increase the rents to market by 2029, and then at the exit, and I guess at the end, you'll be able to pivot into a traditional market property, right? All in cost is 4 million. Exit price, worst case, is 6.1, and while waiting, the cash flow about 90,000 a year, right? So that's the second technique. So the first one is just voucher stacking. This was voucher stacking with a exit year 5 and pivoting into a more traditional route. So same deal here. You're able to double your money in 5 years. Every year we get paid 7% pref and 70% of that excess cash flow, especially from the rent. You could double digit your returns at about 23% IRR, internal rate of return, right? And if anyone's interested in that specific deal as well, these are all live deals. You could hit up Jackie Clark, and that's her number and information there, right? So I'll give about 5 seconds. So you guys, if you wanted to take a look at it, I'll text her now. Let me know. And the last technique is buying expiring LIHTCs and increasing it to market rent. So why even do that, right? So why even do that, right? So basically, it's about creating value, right? And you probably heard the term, especially in the world of real estate, forcing appreciation, right? So whether it's adding a specific room or a specific set of rooms, or being able to save on solar or save on energy or the light bulbs, that's different things to force appreciation, right? So in this case, you're able to increase the rent from 7 to 1,000 to 1416, and then you're assuming the existing interest financing, and you get 5% seller finance. So it's a mix of low interest finance, and then you're also going to have the seller being able to finance a percentage of the deal for you, right? So all-in costs, and for this specific case, is 50 million. Exit price, worst case is 63 million, almost 64,000. And while waiting, you're still making cash flow about $2 million a year. And the project lead is one of my mentors directly. We just spoke like an hour ago. So the cool thing about this one, and this is, I believe this was in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. So 30% tax write-off from cost segregation. So what that means simply is, for tax purposes, you're able to reduce your annual federal and state income tax, via owning this thing, right? And possibly to get back 40% of the monies by the end of year 3, right? And you do get a little bit close to double your money in 5 years, and every year you get paid 85% of the cash flow, right? So that's the caveat here. You have less equity multiplier, but you get 85% of the cash flow for this specific property, right? And of course, the IRR, it's a little bit lower than the others. That's at 12%, but you're making it up on the cash flow, right? On that piece, right? And if you're interested, reach out to Wen directly. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Everyone's gonna get a copy of this, and you'll be able to have this, right? Right? Cool. So what's holding you back, right? So what's holding individuals back? So I talk to folks, they love the idea of investing or getting into investing or helping their clients invest, but something's always holding them back. It could be money, it could be time, it could be both, right? Family, it could be both, right? It's always us versus them. I know I was tired of the 9 to 5, going check to check, and I was proud to tell you that I was able to drive yesterday to my client in shorts and pick up a few G's, right? I love that. I love that feeling of being able to control your schedule, control your destiny, right? And get out the rat race, right? Work 9 to 5, pick up your kids or whatever, dinner, and then maybe the gym, and that's it, right? But I was tired of that rat race, and hopefully you are too, right? So something to think about when it comes to us versus them, right? And who to blame, right? You could blame school, your job, your life, right? You're not taught to build generational wealth through the stuff that I just exposed to you, right? Or anything for that matter, right? So we're either working, have our own jobs, and or you may be self-employed, right? But not a lot of us are business owners or want to be, or we are, but it's kind of right, hit or miss. But we're not in that investor category, right? And that should be our goal, right? To get into that investor category, right? So just FYI, if you didn't know by now, did you know that 90% of all millionaires are made from real estate, right? That's pretty not shocking, right? Not shocking enough, right? So pretty interesting there. So 90% of all millionaires are made through real estate, right? So something to think about there, right? So why trust me, or why even be here on this evening? I put this together at the last second, right? So why even my stories really quickly? I I'm not a trust fund baby. I wish I was. I'm self-made, right? I'm blessed that I have a great, great mom who's at almost one of my early, business partners, right? Early lenders, right? So God bless her. Um, and I have a, great family and great supporting, cast, whether it's the kids, the wife, being able to help me and doing what I do today. I've been in business 5 years. I just did my taxes and I've made money every year up to this point. But now I want to make it to a point where I'm doing two things, right? I'm growing my one business, my consulting business, but I'm also wanting to, build generational wealth in real estate, right? So I got the deal in Lake Charles. I did I did had to walk away from a deal in Memphis back in late 23. I had put the money down. I went for the inspection. The inspection was not good, and the seller and I meet could not meet to a certain price, so I walked away from the deal. And then most recently, I did have a 6 unit under contract in my Madeira Beach, and I was supposed to close, but the partner that or supposed ex partner now, that was supposed to go to the table with me, um, you know, we couldn't close, and then eventually, after rerunning some numbers, and I wound up reoffering and he rejected, and hey, and I walked away from that deal, and I actually was, I had some folks that was willing to invest in that deal, but I protected their money, right? So, I'm all about my integrity. Everyone that knows me knows I'm not in a position to ever lose anyone's money. So at the expense of the folks, I told them, I'm walking away, and I did. It just took some time, but I walked away. I learned a lot of lessons from that deal. Obviously, be careful who you partner with. One, and then two, just of course, have an extra pair of eyes and have more out clauses. And I already spoke to my attorney about that, and I'm good. I'm good. I got some of my money back, not all, but that's why the whole time I was already working with Mike, already working with Wen, and now I'm working with Tim Best, who has over 1,000 units in itself, and I'm confident that working with Tim, I'm working on the him or with him, and we're gonna kill it, right? He already has so much under his belt, and he spoke at the Big Deal Summit, and I'm in great shape. I'm in great shape now, right? So give you my moments of vulnerability, people. So I want to let you know. So how does it work, right? How does it all work? So Dr. B, so all right, so you share with us a little bit about the real estate market, or how foreclosures are coming, or have came already, or some have came already. You spoke about different techniques when it comes to LIHTC. So what is it, right? So how does it work, right? So really, really simple. You know, just think about, like, you would never want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? So if you want to do short-term rental, great. If you want to do long-term rental, great. If you want to do a fix and flip, great. But I want to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So definitely, you should diversify your portfolio, and why not put some of that money to work, right? So instead of having it sit in the bank where it's making less than a percent, 2%, whatever, if that, right? Why not put some of it to work, right? And help someone else close their deal, right? As well, right? So it's a great opportunity for you to be the private lender, and of course, by being a private lender, or connecting through various private lenders for syndication, we're able to close much quicker and bypass a lot of baloney, right? A lot of stuff, right? So that's the advantage of that, right? And actually, in my next webinar, I'm gonna share the information. I'll send the email, follow up email tomorrow, the recording and everything. I'm having a webinar specifically around how do you use your IRA, and how to use your 401k, how to convert it to a self-directed IRA and a solo 401k for those business owners to invest in a specific deal, and where that you're going to get your double-digit returns backed by real estate. So you're able to invest your principal, and then you get your principal plus interest back. I'm going to break it down for you guys in a couple of weeks. This is more about low income or Section 8, but my next webinar is going to be about that in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that. So private money, where does it come from? It could come from the bank, but as I just mentioned before, I'm seeding for the next presentation, right? So whether it's self-directed IRA or 401k or HELOC, I'm actually starting the process of a home equity line of credit, that and or home equity loan, because I want to tap into it to purchase, to either do two things. One, be part of this deal as well, but two, being able to purchase a second property. So that's I actually started that process myself. Trust fund, business, personal business line of credit, insurance, credit card, stocks, etc. Right. So these are the 10 sources of private money, just to kind of think about that. Right. As I already mentioned, your five common private lenders, whether it's cash, HELOC, or a home equity loan, personal business line of credit, retirement accounts. Obviously, you have to convert them, and I'll talk about that more. Where you have to assign a custodian on that. That's August 13th, right? And then of course liquidating certain securities, right? So how can you get started? Just being able to work with me. That's my contact information there. Of course, I got to follow the rules. I don't guarantee anything, and the SEC funds up more information. So you have three choices, guys. So you could do nothing, right? And thank you for your time. Thank you for the last 30 minutes of your time, 35 minutes. Do nothing and stay where you at. That's cool. That's cool with me, right? So some people are just ordinary, right? But I'm here to make people extraordinary, right? Second thing is you could DIY it. That's fine, right? You could YouTube it. That's cool. So you may get somewhere, you may not, right? So that's fine. Or the third option is let me do all the heavy lifting for you, right? Don't worry about the toilets, trash, tenant. Don't worry about that. Just put some of your money. I'm not saying all your money, some of your money to work. Put it in work in a deal, and try to make double-digit returns backed by real estate without lifting a heavy finger, right? So let me do the work for you, right? So with that being said, that is my time, and that's my contact information. Most of you guys have it, and I'll share this with you guys later on. So any questions? Let's see. Any questions or comments or anything? Or let's see. I'm turning this into a podcast, by the way. Let's see. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions? Let's take a look. Did you enjoy it at least? Were you entertained for the last 40 minutes? Let's see. Great question, Kevin. The minimum that someone will need to invest when it comes to syndication and for these deals, great question. I believe for about they're all 506B for now, so 25K, 25K. Yeah. Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. For this specific deal, yeah, 25K. So all good. Yes, sir. Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate it. Jermaine was the one that told me that my chat was disabled. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate it. Tell Wen and Mike that I did a great job too. So basically, I was able to be mentored by them. I just said, look, I'm going to take your presentation. I'm going to own it. And I basically did. It's basically my own thing. Good. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Thank you. I put your last name as multilingual. I'm sorry. But thank you. Good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good, brother. Good. All right. Excellent. If there's no any other questions, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end the presentation, and then what I'm gonna do is tomorrow I'll send everyone the slides, and I will send the recording, and then I'll follow up with you guys, just to kind of touch base. No pressure throughout the next couple of days, right? So I will be away, but I'll see what I can do at least set up some time when I come back. Alrighty. So cool. All right, sounds good. All right, so I don't see any other questions. But thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, Damaris. Thank you, everyone who joined. And those that are gonna watch the recording, I hope you connect with me too. All right, guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I am going to end the webinar. So thank you so much. I appreciate everyone's time. Take care.